Greetings of the day. I'm Dr. Magdalene Peter, HOD, Department of Management Studies, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. And in this video lecture series in the subject Business Communication, today I'm going to teach you about business etiquette. So the correct pronunciation, first of all, we will learn how to pronounce the word etiquette. Actually, if you want to go by the spelling of the word, it is E-T-I-Q-U-E-T-T-E. If you go base your presentation based on the spelling, it will be etiquette. But then it is a wrong pronunciation. The correct pronunciation for the word is etiquette, as if we spell it as E-T-I-K-E-T. The pronunciation, the Q here is silent, and the Q and the TE at the end are silent. So you will be pronouncing it as etiquette. Okay. So this is what we are going to study today. Let's get started. Corporate etiquette. Now, what is corporate etiquette? What is the difference between social and business etiquette? The importance of introductions and the importance of business etiquette is that which we will be studying in today's class. Social etiquette is primarily based by, or it is marked by courtesy. So social etiquette is something that comes out of you, ingrained in you because of the social status quo, the custom, the tradition, the beliefs, the kind of society that we are put into. And gender plays a major role in social etiquette. Whereas in business etiquette, it is marked by the hierarchy of power or hierarchical place that you occupy in the organization, and also the power and status quo that you enjoy in being in that particular point in the hierarchy. And gender has no role. Irrespective of gender, all etiquette or set of manners that you have to follow in a corporate setting, you have to follow whether you are a female or a male, and gender has no role. So this is all about the basic differences between social etiquette and business etiquette. Now, what are the principles that are underlying the etiquette concept? First of all, they'll say, treat others as you would like to be treated. So it could be treated as a golden statement. But another improvisation of this statement is, treat others as they would like to be treated. And this is platinum. This is hitting the nail on its head. Treat others as they would like to be treated. And if you try to imbibe this statement in your actions, then naturally you will be a favorite in your groups. So what is etiquette? Now, etiquette in simple terms, if you see, it's a code of behavior which has been expected out of an individual according to certain organizational culture and climate or conventional norms in which we are thriving in. So in proper ways, if you see, it is a code of behavior that delineates expectations for social behavior according to contemporary conventional norms within a society, a social class, or a group, or an organization. So this is what is all about etiquette. Now, etiquette in simple terms, if you want to understand the meaning, it is a set of mannerisms or manners or a typical set of behavior that has been expected out of you in a professional setting, in that particular corporate setup. So that is what is called as etiquette. Now, why at all this business etiquette? It differentiates you from others in a competitive job market. It enables you to be confident in a variety of settings where you have to mingle with a variety of diverse people. It honors commitment to excellence in quality. It modifies distracting behaviors and develops admired contact where people admire you for what you are and who you are. And it exhibits professionalism and develops a polished image. So these are the general objectives which could be achieved if you are able to follow etiquette in your day-to-day life in your organization. Now, the importance of introductions. We shall see the importance of introductions. Now, introduction is a must in any kind of a business gathering or a meeting. and failure to introduce people in a business situations is totally unprofessional. It gives out an air of unprofessionalism if you fail to introduce people when you have called for a meeting. And when your name is called out and you're being introduced, it is always good practice to stand as a mark of respect. And you have to look into the eyes of the other person and smile. Give a smile. And the handshake should be very firm. Your handshake should be very firm. So introduction protocol, if you see, the junior is always introduced to the senior. So in the hierarchical structure, if you see, the junior person is introduced to the senior, and the rule is to say important persons' names first, and also add a few words of description about that particular person. So junior will be introduced first to the senior, and important person's names would be called first, and not only the names, followed by a brief introduction about that person. So suppose in case if you have a list of names and if you forget somebody's name, you need not panic. You can on the stage just look at the person and say, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Your name just slipped my mind. Could you please remind me? So it's not wrong at all. Then you have to, the compeer or the introducer should stay around till both the parties start speaking to each other and start mingling with each other. So this is all about the introductions etiquette that one needs to know. Then we'll move on to handshake. So this is the picture which portrays the right form of handshake. So handshake is actually a gesture of welcome, a gesture of acceptance. So when you're doing handshake, you have to always extend your right hand. At no time will you extend your left hand. And web to web and finger to finger, the handshake should be very firm. And while shaking the hands of the other person, you should not put high pressure. It has to be a slight pressure. And you have to grasp the other person's hand firmly and completely. And while you're grasping the hand, you have to look into the eyes of the other person and give a smile. And then release the power, release the grip within 3 seconds of holding the hand. But at any case, please don't refuse to accept someone's hand when they extend their hand to you for handshake. So this is all about the handshake. Now in today's pandemic world, they say you practice social distancing, don't do handshakes. So that everyone have changed over to namaste. So it's always better to welcome by joining of the hands and saying the traditional typical way of our tradition that we follow is now being globalized. So that is a very good idea at this time of pandemic, because we should not run the risk of catching the virus by giving handshakes to any and everyone we meet. But still, the handshake etiquette, which is in OG, is what I'm teaching you today. Your handshake should be extended, or using your right hand, you have to do the handshake, and it has to be a complete grip of both the hands of the other person, and you have to hold it firmly and without putting too much of pressure. And while holding the hand, you have to look into the eyes of the other person and give a smile. Then the other types of business etiquettes are email etiquette, dining etiquette, telephone etiquette, office etiquette, meeting, business card, cubicle, dress, and networking. We'll see one by one. What is email etiquette? Email etiquette is so new. The rules are evolving because of our increased use of mail. And during this pandemic time, where everything has gone online and it is only virtual, so the more the use of emails has increased. Therefore, while drafting an email, we have to be sure that it is professional, it is efficient, and it protects any liability. So you have to be very conscious and mindful that you are concise and you stick to the point while drafting your message. You use proper spelling, grammar, and punctuation. You make it very personal. You avoid BCC and UNCCC unnecessarily. So this blind carbon copy and carbon copy should be avoided unnecessarily and should not be used very frequently. And you have to respond to an email very quickly. You should not be taking endless time to respond to a particular email, and always your email should have a meaningful subject line, and you are not supposed to send an email without a subject line, and you have to read the email for proofreading once or twice before you actually send it, and always keep your attachments to a minimum, and whatever that you're attaching, you have to give it in writing at the end of your mail. You have to be very careful about the abbreviations that you use, the emotions that has been portrayed in the message that you have developed. You have to take care of the HTML messages also, and you have to usually employ active voice instead of passive voice while drafting your messages. So these are the general email etiquette rules that one has to follow. Then here I've given you some examples of poor usage examples, where without subject line sending an email, action required and key points are not hidden in the message and is not highlighted. Then misusing the global distribution list and discussing that which could have been done over phone. Okay, so all these things are poor usage examples. Then we'll move ahead to dining etiquette. So there are certain principles that you have to follow when you're going for a luncheon or a dinner along with your professional group. So first of all is to be on time. Punctuality is not your Indian punctuality. It is the real punctuality that you have to be 10 minutes earlier, at least the minimum, before your dinner appointment or luncheon appointment starts. You have to wait until the host or the hostess of the particular dining event indicates to you the seating arrangement, and then you have to stand on the right side of the chair and enter from your left side to sit in the chair. You have to put the napkin in your lap. You have to decide on the menu selections very quickly. You can't be browsing through the menu and word by word, page by page, and then take eternity to place your order. Now, another thing, when somebody is hosting you for a party, you should not be grabbing the opportunity to order the most expensive item in the list. You have to wait for all the people to be served before you start eating. Then you have to know which kind of silverware that you have to use for the food that you're eating, and you have to wait until everyone has been served before you begin to eat. Then salt and pepper. Whenever if someone asks for the pepper, you have to pass on both salt and pepper together, and generally you will be passing food to the right side of you. So these are the general dining etiquette that one has to follow while he is in a professional luncheon or a dinner party. So this is the image that I have put across to just let you know what type of silverware that you should be using for different kind of parties that you've been invited. So you have the butter knife, the bread and butter dish, the dessert spoon and fork, the glassware, the meat, fish handles, knives, the salad spoon, the salad and fish and meat fork. So everything has been kept a glance you can have to understand the type of silverware that you'll be using in a corporate setup dining event. Now, what are the manners that you have to follow during while eating, while having your food? You should not eat with your mouth full. The more you cannot be dumping food inside your mouth till the maximum that your food, your mouth can chew. Keep one hand in your lap unless you're eating European style. Okay, then you have to remove anything from your mouth with the same with a tissue. Then you have to eat at a very moderate speed, as if the food is gonna disappear. You should not create that kind of urgency in gulping food down. You have to eat at a moderate, not very slowly, not too fast, but you have to maintain a moderate speed. Then you have to maintain a very polite dinner conversation, and during the conversation, usually official things are not spoken. You can speak about hobbies, the passion, the gender news and all that. Never medicate yourself. And before taking your food, suppose in case if you are to take a particular medicine before your food, you could eat your food, then you have to take your medicine in private and then come to the dining table. You can't do any medication for yourself before everyone on the table. If you must leave your table, then you place your napkin in the chair, and then okay, you have finished your food, then you can leave. But then before that, if you're coming back, you have to leave the napkin in your chair. So these are the general manners that one should follow while eating, dining. Okay, next comes the telephone etiquette. So when you initiate a call, identify yourself. That is very, very important. First of all, introduce who you are. Tell the basic nature of your call. I am so and so, and I'm calling for this purpose. And then you speak on the phone. Okay. And then when you have to have someone answer your calls in your absence, and suppose in case if you missed some calls, you have to call back in return. And during meetings, you have to put your phone in silence and should not be entertaining any calls. Then you have to identify yourself when making a call. You have to address the caller by his name, because it is a very courteous manner to do it. You have to keep your conversation brief. You have to be, never should you be impatient. You have to listen carefully, and when the other person is speaking, you will not interrupt. Then you will not eat something while you're speaking on the phone. If you wish to put the caller on hold, request his permission to do so before you put him on hold. Then let the caller hang up the call first. You don't be in a hurry to cut the call. In case of missed calls, return the call within a reasonable period of time. If someone calls you by mistake, inform the caller politely that he has reached a wrong number. Don't be venting your total stress and anger on him. Poor thing has made a wrong call to you. So these are the telephone etiquette that you will follow while handling phone calls. Now, how can you handle angry callers? First of all, by listening carefully to the problem or any complaints that they are saying. Don't interrupt. Don't say that you are wrong. Instead, empathize with him. You should be good in your area of work and investigate about the complaint that he has raised, and you have to try to bring about a solution. You have to tell him the process for solving the problem and should not mislead him in any way by giving false promises or tall claims. You have to call him back when you have the solution, and this feedback is very, very important. It is not necessary that you listen to him carefully, you empathize him, and then after the caller cuts the call, you forget about it. You have to work out the solution, and then after working out the solution, you have to reach the solution to the person. This is good customer management. Office etiquette. Office etiquette is you have to follow good office etiquette. You have to, those who are seen as crabs or passed over will have their employment terminated at one point of time because of lack of etiquette. And you have to be self-aware and use common sense. There is an adage that common sense is not common to everyone. So please don't fall into that category. Use your common sense to behave virtuously at the right places. And first of all, mind your own business and don't unnecessarily get into the affairs of the other person. Never go over your supervisor's head at any time. Obey company's business dress code, whatever is being stated. Treat every employee with the same respect and do not post things which are offensive in nature. So the reasons some of the employees could get fired is the bad language that they use in the workplace, the excessive workplace gossip they indulge in, then drinking, taking alcoholic beverages during office time, leaving without telling anyone, or attending to too many personal calls. And then breaches of office etiquette could be bad hygiene, bad habits, and wastefulness of any of the office assets. Office etiquette: show a healthy respect for colleagues, exhibit a positive attitude, leave your personal life at the door, don't bring it into the office, then inquire about the proper way to respond to your co-workers, to your supervisors, to your clients, etc. Then meeting etiquette is you have to avoid using words that are vulgar. You have poor communication skill is not professional. You have to avoid personal questions during the first meeting. Whoever gets to the door first should open the door and hold it for the others who are following. And you have to keep your cell phone ringer in mute and accept only voicemail and text messaging. So business card etiquette is again another etiquette which you have to consider. Always you should have a business card. You have to have it in good shape and it should be updated in case if you have changed your email, your address or your phone number, everything has to be updated. It has to be readily available anytime anyone asks you. It has to be easily accessible. You have to be selective about distributing your business card and you have to present it in an appropriate time and manner. So these are the things that you will follow as far as business card etiquette is concerned. Then cubicle etiquette, never enter someone's cubicle without their permission. Announce yourself at the doorway or lightly knock on the wall so that they know that somebody is coming. Post a sign or flag at your cube entrance to signal when you can be interrupted. That also can be done. Don't peek in as you walk past each one of the cubicle. Don't try to see what anyone is doing. And then don't loiter. Don't read at someone's computer screen. This is a very, very bad habit. While someone is working, you should not be reading their computer screen or comment on conversations that you overhear. Keep your hands off others' desks. Don't take things from their desk. Avoid eating meals inside the cubicle. And because sometimes the food order could not be acceptable for other people, therefore, it is not advisable to have food inside your cubicle. Dress etiquette is another important thing that one has to look into. The professional looks, the dress for the part, the simple but classic grooming, all these parameters should be looked into. So grooming is fundamental. So clean and styled hair has to be styled in an appropriate way. Clean nails, skin and teeth. Many professionals wear makeup and it depends upon the field. Never overdo. You check the fragrance and clothing care. And don't please use a pungent smelling perfume. Wear a very mild perfume. And then professional attire, some of the examples of professional attire which could be used in an office setting. And business casual wear for women, dress, pant, shirt, blouse, everything should be well maintained. It could be a dress or casual shoe. No tennis shoes or flip-flops should be used for an office setup. For men, it could be slacks, khaki pants, polo shirt, or other colored dress shirt. Well-maintained dress or casual shoes. Here again, nothing sloppy. Then this is the casual work attire. Sometimes some companies adopt to this business casual work attire during Fridays. So it depends upon the type of company that you are into. So networking. So now break out of your comfort zone. You can't say that I'm an introvert, I am shy and can't be sticking to your own cell. You have to travel with your friends. You have to make direct eye contact and smile when you're speaking. You have to contribute positively to the conversation with your thoughts and with open-ended questions. You should not monopolize someone's time. You cannot waste someone's time. If appropriate, you have to collect business cards and politely excuse yourself and move on to another individual. So this is all about breaking out of your comfort zone and networking with people in your group. So business etiquette postures, handshaking positions. Here you can see some of the positions which is acceptable and also not acceptable. Taking control is not acceptable. This kind of handshake is taking control. And then the second one is giving control, where it's your hand is underneath, and then this is where both the hands are together like this. Then that is shaking like a professional. The right hand side you have two form, normal handshake and weak handshake. So from the picture you can understand what type of handshake is acceptable. And seating positions also, less than 70 degrees not acceptable, 90 also not acceptable, 125 degree and over is only acceptable. Casual, judging and arguing, these are the types of postures that could indicate some kind of casual, judging or argumentative nature. Then you have the dress code, where formal is on one side and informal is on the other side. So these are the types of dress codes that has to follow. So students, today in our class, we studied about business etiquette. Corporate etiquette was the topic, and we saw about the difference between business etiquette and uh, corporate etiquette, and we also saw what are the different types of etiquette that one has to follow, starting from introduction etiquette to email, to dining, to telephone, to office. So we had literally went through an array of different types of etiquettes that one has to follow. So I hope that this class in corporate etiquette was useful for you. Stay tuned for more video lectures on this series. Thank you so much.